Okay, so let's start by taking a look at the deck that we're playing today. So this is Entreat Jinx. So this deck was this deck was brought to my attention by a fellow streamer and content creator who I've been following for quite some times, quite a few years now, Mr. Jeff Hoagland. You can check out his stream on Twitch or his YouTube channel. He plays a lot of Legends of Runeterra as well as Magic the Gathering Arena. I've been watching his content for many years now, and you know, he's someone whose content I really appreciate and enjoy, and he's definitely influences how I try to run my streams as well. So what this deck is essentially, so in Legends of Runeterra, the way you can build decks is by you can play as many you can play cards from any two regions and up to 6 champions from those regions. However, this deck is leaning on just one champion, Jinx here. So Jinx says that she's a 4/3 with quick attack, and she levels up when she sees your hand is empty. And when she does level, the first time she sees your hand empty every round, she creates this super mega death rocket, which is a deal 4 to the enemy nexus or the HQ if you're coming from cards, and 1 to all enemies. So at its core, this is an aggressively slanted deck that's looking to pressure the opponent's life total in the early game and then close out games by using super mega death rockets as a form of reach. I guess this card is pretty much like a very cheap and better version of Air Blitz if you're coming from cards. So we're looking to be aggressive in the early game and then Air Blitz them out of the game with super mega death rockets. And so the rest of the deck is made up of cards that allow us to consistently empty our hand and get Jinx to level as quickly as possible, and also generate these super mega death rockets. So we have cards like this Zonite Urchin and the Sump Dredger that let us discard a card, that we have to discard a card to play it, but then we draw one when we do. But we don't just necessarily lose the card and just filter our hand. We have cards like this Jury Rig or these Flame Chompers that come into play when you discard them, so it allows us to generate some tempo when we do this. And then the reason we're running this other nation here, where the Entreat part of this deck name comes from, is this card here, Entreat, lets us draw a champion. So one of the things that makes, can make this deck suffer is that if you do all this work to get your hand to a small size, you're ready to level up Jinx, but Jinx is nowhere in sight. So Entreat essentially gives us additional copies of Jinx, or more specifically, lets us find our Jinx more consistently. So we're using Entreats as a way to help us find Jinx, and if we already have Jinx, we can just discard these to our discard effects. And yeah, combined with the Freylord has a lot of interesting cards such as Omen Hawk and Starlet Seer that let us buff our units that are in our deck, so we can create some pretty big and significant threats from our otherwise like okay cards that are like fine in this archetype. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling. I don't really know. I don't know really how much else to explain it, but like I said, if you have any questions about the deck and what we're playing, let me know and I'll do my best to explain as we go, and we'll get a general sense of how the basic gameplay of this works as we go. So anyone sticking around, can you let me know once we get into the match, if you refresh the page, can you let me know if the stream decker or the deck overlay pops up on the stream? Would appreciate it. I could check myself, I suppose, by looking at my own stream. Doesn't look like it doesn't look like it's appearing. All right, that's something I'm gonna have to look into some other point, but we'll just get into this game at first. So I think Entreat is an okay in our opener as a way to find Jinx. Omen Hawk's a great turn 1 play. Rummage I don't think we need quite yet. I might want something that I can discard to Sump Dredger though. That's fine, we'll just keep his hand. So the way turns work in Legend of Runeterra is both players have the opportunity to play cards on their turn, passing back and forth. What signifies whether or not it's your turn, so to speak, is whether or not you have this attack token, and that determines whether or not you can
Don't get in my way.
Perform an attack for that turn. So I don't really want to play anything else out here. I think I'm just going to pass. I could play this Entreat with the 2 mana I have. The other interesting thing about this game is that any unused mana on your turn gets banked into what's called spell mana. So I think I'll just take the 5 here for now. So I can bank this mana and then use it on a later turn to play out spells. Just spells, not units. I think we'll start by this. We'll discard this Flame Chompers, which is going to come into play.
I've always got your back.
Don't worry about me.
I think we'll initiate an attack here and see what our opponent does. Okay, so in response to this block, we're gonna Mystic Shot their Lucian, because when Lucian sees her die, which she will as a result of this combat, he's gonna level up and get out of range of this Mystic Shot, which is essentially a shock from like MTG. She also gets a buff, but it's not enough to not die to our attack, so I think overall that was a good exchange for us.
Flavor and spice.
Could play out the Jinx. I don't think I want to do. I think we'll play out the Avaros and Tracker. So what it does, it puts a 5/5 in the top 3 cards of our deck, a 1-cost 5/5. So kind of a good value card.
Feed Demacia.
These War Chiefs are going to give allies that attack +1/+1 this round, specifically supported ally, which is the ally on to their right. So I wanted to hold up this Elixir of Iron to be able to take some of that damage. I am Nutter. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate you stopping by the stream and giving me your support.
What did you catch?
So there's the Yeti. I guess he put it on the top card of our deck, so we drew it the following turn. We're going to play it out here and look to attack with it this turn. What else could they have? Is there anything that punishes me for playing out Jinx and attacking? I guess we'll find out. This is only barrier this round, right? Yeah. I could throw away. So this Flame Chompers has this mechanic called Challenger, which lets you force something to block it. So I could force this to block this. It will die, but it does mean that he doesn't get a free 2 damage on our more important units. I think that's fine, because this is gonna push a lot of damage if he decides that he doesn't want to trade any of his units in here. And we do still have enough mana, this banked spell mana, to use this Elixir of Iron to save one of our units just in case he has a trick to go along with this. Okay, so he passed back to me doing nothing after block, so if I say okay, I know the combat's going to resolve exactly as is, and you can always use this eye over here on the side to know exactly what the outcome of the fight's going to be. I think I'm okay with that. I'd rather save my Elixir of Iron to keep Jinx alive if necessary. So our opponent has the opportunity to play a card or initiate an attack here as their first action for their turn. We don't have a whole lot going on in our hand, unfortunately. I can use this Entreat to draw Jinx, and when you draw additional copies of a champion that you already have in play, they turn into a spell that you can play that then shuffles another copy of them back in their deck, just so you're not losing out on champions. And Jinx's spell is this Get Excited, a deal 3 for 3. That also requires you to discard a card. 3, and since we have a lot of this expensive cards in hand, I think it's okay to do this. I'm gonna pass here, see what our opponent does. They're probably gonna attack with this. This is a Challenger and Scout, which means if they attack with just this, they're gonna get their attack token back, and it's gonna challenge something, probably the Jinx.
Hold nothing back.
That's interesting. Do I try to Fury of the North that? If it fails, then we get in trouble because then they can challenge and kill Jinx. So I think I'm just supposed to let this happen. If they want to waste their first attack on killing my 1/1, I think that's fine. Yeah, the eye is a really cool feature to the game.
No one goes hungry.
I think I'll just kill... These are both essentially the same thing, but if I block this, I save 1 more point of damage, so I guess that's what I should be looking to do. But they could have the +1/+1 buff to get it out of range. They could have a bunch of things to get it out of range. So let's see what happens. So we're going to give Jinx a +4/+4, so she survives and also trades with this in combat. I wonder what's in their hand. They don't seem to have anything... I expected to see several tricks at this point, and we haven't seen any of them. Open on attacks here. If I play a card, they have an opportunity to play a card, so I'd rather just open on attacks here. I think it's worth saving this. We still have something else to save Jinx. That's fine. I'm just gonna let that happen then. This is a burst spell, so it kind of they don't have a chance to respond to it. So I think what I'm supposed to do is burst here, and then I can actually empty our hand with this card here, and I can make them trade. Oh, they're just surrendering. Okay.
We blew them all up!
Got a bunch of experience, which leads to rewards. Similar to how the achievement system in cards works. Overlay says it's active. For some reason, I guess it's not showing. This is a good starting hand. I think I'll keep this. We can Zonite Urchin on 1 to discard the Flame Choppers, put those 2 into play. If they don't have a turn 1 play, we can get in for 2 damage, and then our following play will be Starlit Seer, which grants the top ally in our deck, or the top unit in our deck, +1/+1 all the time.
Anything else?
RDT not connected. The streamer must check their system tray icons. Okay. Ow. Oh, wait, hold on. Alright, well, I clicked something.
Some rot got me good.
It's working now? Sweet.
Spare a coin.
So is this worth trading here? Our opponent's playing a similar archetype to us, except they're running Noxus instead of Freylord cards. I think their deck might be better, might be the better one in the matchup. Not 100% certain though. I think this is worth. This is probably worth the block.
Ow!
Yeah, the feature's really cool. It's something I wish we could get for cards at some point. So blocking in this game is 1-to-1. So if I do attack with this 2-3, at best they can deal 2 damage to it by blocking with their 2-2. The question is it worth reducing this thing's health down? I don't think it is. I think one of the ways we can win this game is by getting really big units that are tough for them to kill, and I want to keep these guys alive for as long as possible. So I can keep getting value off of them by casting spells, of which we have a lot in the deck right now. That said, they're going to start doing a lot of damage to us very, very quickly, so it might be worth trading off some things here. Oh, what am I doing? This is a mistake. I forgot that this guy generates this +1 attack when it comes into play.
Now we're cooking.
I suppose we can save our guy by doing this, though. It's just unfortunate because we don't get quite as much value off of it, because I would have liked to play that when we got a second Starlit Seer instead. So this will have to do. So every time this guy strikes, he generates this card in their hand, which they can play for free by discarding a card to give something a permanent, or sorry, not a permanent, but a temporary +1 attack. It's also a good card for them to discard to their many effects that they have in their deck, similar to what we have. So we really want to get excited now.
We see through all.
That's not bad. It's not the greatest, though. Am I supposed to play it out? I think I'm just supposed to bank the spell mana. It's also possible I should just play the Jinx. Then hopefully we draw something that got the buff.
Blessed by snow and stars.
Okay, there's a biggin. There's a big boy. If they don't open on attacks here, we're definitely going to play this out, I think. Probably discarding the Jinx. No, the Jinx... no, we probably have to discard the Zonite Urchin. We still have enough mana to cast Mystic Shot on something. Probably this guy.
Watch and learn.
Yeah, he's not... I'm not surprised to see an open attack here.
Fly away while you can. Let's not ruffle our feathers.
So I don't want to block here. He could have a number of things that punishes a block like that. So I think I'm just supposed to be conservative and just take 8. Be somewhat conservative. Yeah, because I know for a fact he can kill this. So we just shouldn't. He's gonna discard a card to buff one of these with this to trade with our thing, and we'll just Mystic Shot in response. If possible. He could have several tricks in hand.
Time for the moneymaker.
He's just going for the throat here. You're gonna get excited at that. Okay, so in that case, since this is already blocked, it is kind of more of a threat, but I think I want to save my life total. Is that correct? No, maybe we're supposed to kill this. And I'm gonna do it now so we get triggers from these guys before it dies to his get excited.
An auspicious season.
There's a good chance that they're buffing the Yeti this guy put on top of it.
my name?
So he leveled up, obviously. So now every time he strikes, he's going to create 2 spinning axes in hand. And now this is out of Get Excited range, unfortunately.
Jinx stands for Jinx. Durr.
So we can empty our hand guarantee with this Rummage, which I think is worth it. Unfortunately, they could open on attacks next turn before we have a chance to use the Rocket, which would kill at least these 2 and deal a damage here, putting this in range.
I'm on a roll.
This will be a good winter.
This will be a good winter. I think I'm actually going to open attacks. Well, battling enemy strikes a battling ally. If he has the Draven skill in hand, which they sometimes run actual copies of in their deck, we could get in trouble with this attack.
Smile. It's called gunplay.
But I think we're kind of falling on far enough behind here that we need to get aggressive. This deck can generate a surprising amount of reach, so it's not unreasonable for us to burn our opponent out if we can just hit them like maybe one more time.
Now it's a party.
Assuming we're going to see them open on attacks here, but... if not, we're going to play out this 5-6, obviously. That's a little scary because it can force one of our things to block it and they can push damage, but we'll see. We'll see what they do here.
Let's boogie.
Yep. That's a good choice from them. So I can buffer up to a 6. He can discard this to kill her in response, so that's not what we're gonna do. This I'm okay with. I guess we'll block here. We're kind of obligated to block everything here.
You're starting to bore me.
Yeah, okay, let's do this and see what they do.
Now we're cooking.
You know what? Because I know I'm Mystic Shotting and Elixiring anyway, I'm probably just supposed to do that while I have the other Starlit Seer. So I definitely missed a few buffs on
An auspicious season.
on some of our units here. So here's a Mega Death Rocket.
This will be a good winter.
It is fleeting, which means it will go away at the end of the turn if I don't use it, so I'm going to use it now. It's essentially it's virtually 3-4 damage and deals 1 to here, which means we can potentially finish him off at the start of next round if we can empty our hand again. But the way our deck works out is that there should be... Okay, that's a little unfortunate. So in order to guarantee empty our hand, we have to Rummage. Because you cannot play Rummage without discarding at least 1 card to it.
Ah, an auspicious season.
Definitely gonna Mega Death Rocket here.
See ya.
Down. Blessed by snow and stars.
Okay, so what's their final card is the question.
I'm on the verge of something.
Alright, that's a pretty good final card for them to have. They get to draw 3, deal 3 here.
These eyes is a see-all.
Hopefully they just drew a bunch of do-nothing units. GG's. They found their last little bit of reach. Very close game.
Was zero fun.
If we had drawn a little differently there, such that we could have played both our cards and had some extra value off of them, we definitely could have won that turn. But yeah, he basically drew the best card in his deck for that situation. Usually want to keep one Jinx. I don't mind the Flame Choppers because it's a good thing to discard to our many, discard effects, so. See if they have something to block our 2/3 on their turn. I think that's worth attacking into. So there's a 1/4 that when it dies, it tosses and heals their Nexus for 2. Tossing is basically a self mill mechanic, and the idea behind our opponent's deck is they're trying to get their deck to 15 cards or less, which triggers a mechanic on a lot of their cards called Deep, which basically makes their units bigger and usually enables some really nasty abilities on them. Is Zonite Urchin better than the Trapper here? It may be, so we can start pushing damage, but no, I think this is okay. This is where we want to start. That's probably something we're going to do in the following turns. We could even do it on our next turn, but I think if our opponent doesn't play anything else out here, we're probably just opening on attacks next turn. They're milling like crazy here. How many cards are left in their deck? 22, so they're getting there. Probably drawing a few too many chompers here. The sound effects seem really loud today. So when that dies, it tosses and heals them, but they were already at full health. You can't gain health past your starting life total in this game. Do I want to play this out? I think it's okay.
Stands for Jinx.
Spend our resources. We have this Elixir Vine to save her from their sea monster that they can play to try to kill it. Also drew a backup Jinx, so that's nice. Huh. They're just ending the round. Do I just pass then? I think I want to...
Anything helps. Stick your lip out and give them puppy eyes. Trust me.
It can't be.
They sometimes run a board clear in their deck, but it costs too much for them to play here, and if we open on attacks, they can't play it
Smile.
because it's a slow spell and they can't play it during combat. Wow, they have just nothing. Well, I guess they don't have nothing. They have a giant sea monster. Are they just dead? Because this can be a second copy of Jinx, and then I can play both and discard for the win. I think they're dead.
an auspicious season.
Unless they can gain more than 2 health at quick speed, they're dead here. Yep.
We blew them all up!
This is a pretty good opening hand. Urchin, discard Jury Rig. Omen Hawk's also a decent start usually. Starlit Seer. I think we keep all of this. Our opponent's playing, looks like a Deathcry deck. So their deck is looking to play cheap units with a lot of Last Breath effects, or if they're coming from cards, Destruction effects. Get value off of them, and then play big things in the late game that benefited from you doing that. I think we'll Omen Hawk in response to their Omen Hawk. They're probably going to open attacks. I'll happily block. Because hopefully I would like to get these 2-1s in. At some point. I think the start will Seer. See if they have a play. They probably do.
These old eyes still see far.
That's a really good hit. So their Omen Hawk gave this guy +1/+1. He was on the top of the deck. So now it's a 3/2 that when it dies, it draws a card. So that kind of puts a stop to our plans here. Okay.
We weren't expecting all this.
I'm gonna play this to check their 3/2. They're probably gonna play the thing. They have a thing that they can play to. Yeah. So when this dies, it creates a 4/3, and they play the thing that you must kill one of your units when it comes into play. I think this is okay though. We're not in an awful spot by any means. Do I want to rummage and put in a Jury Rig into play is the question. I think so. I think we need to start looking for stuff to do.
This would be a
Ooh, that's pretty
winter.
good. Oh right, that was burst speed, so
Got me good.
they didn't get a chance to respond to that. Let's see if they open attacks here.
Go on, boys.
I'm innocent.
Yeah, I think we take these blocks.
Alert the village.
That's gonna die and draw a card at some point. I might need to block one of that with one of our 1/1s, but I think for now we're okay just passing.
An auspicious season.
Okay, looks like Jinx was one of the things on top of our deck that got buffed by our thing.
We shall pierce their treasonous hearts.
Oh, unfortunately, that's now out of range of our Get Excited, so it's probably going to be a tough one for us from here. The buffs hit really good units. I'm guessing something came up on our opponent's end. I don't know why, what they're waiting for. I think the main issue, I've kind of been skimming the conversation you guys are having in chat here. I think the main issue is that you get punished too hard for losing, or more specifically, you get punished too hard in cards for not winning games. So I feel like if they change the way the reward system worked such that you can gain a little bit even for when you lose, up to a point every day, that I think that would be good. Like, for example, I think the progress system for the ranks should be you gain 1 star for winning and just lose half a star for losing. I think that would be an interesting starting place anyway. So we can't block that, sadly. Could block...
Fly away while you can!
Let's start here. See what happens. Oh yeah, I forgot. That thing's gonna get bigger when it comes to play. Or when something dies.
Me? You got the wrong lady.
Our vengeance manifested in you.
Smile! It's called gunplay.
Biofeast? Yep. So this is a... Okay. If I burst Elixir of Iron, that stops that as well, right? But I'll go up to 5, and then I'll die to these, so I need to kill this in response. So he played a card that was kill an ally to deal damage equal to its power. So I killed the unit in response, so he couldn't do that.
We're doing it!
I only just started playing, and this is the deck I gravitated towards because it's kind of budget friendly, because you only need 3 champions, and champions are the most expensive cards in the game to build. So I would say that this is the one I've most certainly been enjoying lately. I'm assuming we're gonna see them open on attacks here, but I could be wrong. If they don't, I think that would be a little bit of a mistake from them, because we're gonna get to play a second blocker out. Because it depends on what's in their hand. Champions are like elites, yeah, but you can have up to 3 copies of them in your deck. And this deck in particular, because it's focused on this champion Jinx, you start with 2 of them just for opening an account. So I only needed 1 to find 1 of her to have a full playset for this deck, and the rest of the deck is essentially standards and limiteds, not even specials. There are no specials in this deck. But to use the Runeterra terms, the rarity levels are common, rare, and oh geez, what's the other one? Common,
The trap is
rare, something and champions.
Their treachery ends now.
Are we just dead? Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I don't want Callista to level up and live. I think we need to sacrifice her. This is going here.
Tread carefully.
I guess I could go here and do this. Because this deals 1 to all enemies, it will finish this off and this off. This will still be alive, but that's fine.
Pooping.
Yeah, champions are elites. Specials are called epics. Yeah, that's what they're called, epics in this game. So this deck, like compared to cards, it's essentially a deck that has no specials and just 3 elites, but you get 2 of those elites to start the game, like when you open an account with Riot.
Patience.
I think we actually start with this because our Mega Death Rocket can kill this. And now it can kill their other blocker too. That's funny. But I'm fine with that. They're gonna get a 4-3 when this dies, but that trades with this, and then they're gonna take 6 from this.
Smile! It's called gunplay.
Okay, so 1 more Mega Death Rocket actually kills them next round. Assuming we can empty their hand, empty our hand, and I don't know if they have anything that can kill us from this point. You know what? Me playing there was a mistake, because if they had the Reckoning, or the card that clears the board, we would have lost our thing. It looks like we're gonna just be able to win. This was a close game. Yeah, Jinx is special. I really like her. She's probably one of my favorite champions in this game from what I've seen so far. From what I've played and what I've watched. I've watched one of my favorite streamers plays a lot of Runeterra, and of all the champions that I've seen, I think Jinx is my favorite. Or one of them. Okay. Lux Braum. Another great thing about this game, because you get to see what champions players are running in their deck, you can make informed mulliganing decisions because you get to know what their likely overall strategy is, which I think is very important in a best of 1 format, just because it means it just leads to less non-games where you just keep a hand speculating what your opponent could have, and then it ends up not lining up well into what you're doing. I think we'll Zonite Urchin discard the other one. They're probably gonna Omen Hawk on one, or they're playing Poros, okay. So they're playing a deck that centers around these cards called Poros to level up and kill them. I think they're playing, it's kind of like a mid-range control deck, if I understand correctly what it is they're playing. Their deck is kind of like a tokens deck from cards, kind of. So they have cards that buff these Poros specifically, and they get like really strong as they go. No, my little pet is a Poro right here.
The trap is set.
My avatar is
Mages
something.
can't hide from
What does
me.
this guy do? Grant me +1/+1 in Challenger once you've cast a 6-cost spell this game. Okay. That's significant because one of their champions, Lux, levels up when you cast a 6+ mana spell. So that's kind of the reason why they're running that. Don't really have good attacks here. I could throw... yeah, I think we just pass. He liked the little petting. They have a sinister Poro. Fearsome. Holy smokes. Don't know that I want to run out Jinx here. They have a few things that they could play that punishes just running her out.
My cause is righteous. You have no alibi.
What does that card do? Create 2 random Poros and 2 Poro snacks in hand. Okay, so the Poro snacks are like instant speed buffs for these guys. And they have 2 more random ones. I think most Poros in the game are only 1/1s with different keywords. There is a 3/3 that has Overwhelm, which is like Trample, if you're familiar with Magic the Gathering. That's not terrible, I suppose. I think we just open on attacks here. They want to trade one of their Poros. They can only Poro snacks once. Both of our things survive it. This still kills one of their things even if they Poro snacks, so... If they want to throw it away, I'm fine with that. Yep. I think... Now the interesting thing about Poro snacks is it grants their Poro allies everywhere +1/+1, which includes the ones that are sitting in their hand.
Rules are made to be broken, like buildings or people.
It also, if I understand correctly, the key term everywhere includes, yeah, even if created or summoned later. So it buffs every future Poro that they play in the game. Yeah, it can be scary. Their deck can get out of hand pretty quickly. Okay, this isn't bad. We can play the Yeti out, and then we can get excited discarding the Entreat.
Who knows?
It can't be.
To level up Jinx, and then we can start generating Mega Death Rockets on our following turn, which would be really, really cool.
Let's show our friends the door. Show me your best.
So when he survives damage, he's going to create a Poro. We can't stop that, so I think I let this happen. See what else he's going to do for the turn, because if he taps out and doesn't have protection for Braum, we can finish him off before the turn ends. Braum, unlike most units in this game, similar to cards, damage sticks to units round to round, but Braum has the ability to regenerate, so he will fully heal at the end of the round. And we want to try to stop that from happening. So see, even this... Normally this Poro is a 3/3, but because the Poro snacks occurred, any future Poros that they create are going to get +1/+1, so it's now a 4/4 instead. Okay, well... Oh, I guess the onus is on us to do something with our turn, so I guess we'll try this. This might not work. They could have Elixir of Iron, which is one of the cards we're playing in our deck, to stop this from happening. But it worked. Awesome.
This will be a good winter.
Now we're gonna get to bank 3 spell mana for next turn, which isn't bad.
Denounce magic.
I think we might open on attacks though on our next turn. Depends on what we draw. Okay. Because they do have Poro Snacks, and they could be running this card in their deck, so like they could get their Poros out of range of Jinx's shenanigans.
Watch your step.
Let's start with this. They do get an opportunity to play another blocker out here, but I think this is good, because this essentially nullifies one of their blockers.
We can do this.
Lux is kind of scary. So if he casts a 6+ mana spell, she'll level up, and then she starts creating something in her hand that's similar to what we're doing, except it just targets enemies. But if it overwhelms for damage on our HQ, I think we just gotta kind of go wide here. I think our goal is to just burn them out this game. I'm gonna do this because otherwise they get a free block on these. Yeah, let's see how much damage we can push here. I think we're definitely the beatdown deck in this match. So do we want to deal 2 to their face? We'll get them down to 7, and then we'll have a Death Rocket, which will get them down to 3, which means we could potentially kill them next turn. I think that's what we're supposed to do. Like, obviously I could use this to finish off yeah, that's true. Maybe I'm supposed to finish off the Challenger, because they're just gonna open attacks next turn and kill Jinx, right?
An auspicious
Yeah, then maybe that was a mistake. But we have a bunch of Get Exciteds in our deck and such, so... Oh no, wait! Yeah, these guys are going down to 1, so they're gonna die to the Super Mega Death Rocket. Never mind. This guy won't, because he can Poro Snacks. No, he can't, because he doesn't have enough resources. Oh yeah, sorry, Wirtz, I was focusing on the game. Yes, it's kind of like the regen infantry, but like... But all of their health. Okay, this is pretty good. We're in a pretty good spot then. Okay, Fury of the North and Mystic Shot. Okay, that's pretty good. So if they open on attacks, it doesn't matter what they do. We can point this upstairs and then burst in response, creating a Mega Death Rocket. And now, even if they have the guy that heals their HQ for 3, they're still dead.
We blew them all up!
We blew them all up! It's like my favorite victory chant. Do I want the Rummage in my opening hand? I don't think so. Sump Dredger might not be the greatest either. Just discard both of these, looking for something else. How is the surrender culture in this game? Not as prevalent as in cards. One of the things I think that's really great about this game is that most games, in my experience, come down to the wire. so you never ever feel out of it. So you pretty much let your opponent kill you every game. Very rarely do you just get run over playing this game, I find. Sure, I'm fine with that. So our opponent's playing one of the better decks in the format right now, if I'm understanding correctly. This is kind of like a control deck that has a kind of a combo-S finish using this Ezreal. They're trying to get their Ezreal leveled up so that every time they play a spell, they deal 2 damage to our Nexus, and it's not unreasonable that they can just deal 20 to us in a single turn. But in the meantime, they're trying to control the board with a mix of damage spells, like direct damage removal spells, and like sweepers and stuff.
I need more hands!
I'm gonna go ahead and Mystic Shot this. When they open attacks with a Shell Shocker, the nice thing about this Jury Rig spell is that it's got burst speed, so we can actually respond to their attack by playing a blocker for their 1/1 and trading with it. They might spend a spell trying to save this. I don't think it'd be worth it for them, though. So if they want to Mystic Shot this or do something else, I think I'm okay with that. This will just die to a Mega Death Rocket eventually anyway. So... yeah, I mean, the thing is, in cards, it doesn't feel good fighting the uphill battle, right? And sometimes you just... certain decks, if you just lose... if you just lose the front line, it's like... there's not much you can do if you're an aggro deck, or if you don't find the answer to their, you know, really good card, you're just gonna get run over. You know, if you don't have the answer to their 109th Engineers the turn it comes down, you're just gonna get run over. So it's like, do I want to spend extra time fighting this uphill battle that I'm probably just gonna lose anyway, or do I just want to move on to the next game and hope for a better outcome, you know? Hope for a more interesting game. I know, like, I will admit that part of the reason why I was looking for a new game to stream is because cards hasn't been that enjoyable for me in the last little while. The games just feel very, very swingy. They just feel absolutely lopsided, one-sided, and the format's just not very brew friendly. It's pretty much play German US aggro or play the control ramp, the British ramp decks, and that's it. Like that's the only viable things on the ladder. So I like playing a variety of things for you guys on stream, but if I'm just gonna keep getting run over by like the top decks all the time, then it stops being. I can only get beat up for so much with like playing tier 3 or lower decks before I get tired of it. So okay, what do we want to do here? I guess we can get excited this to put an O2 in play, and then we can Mystic Shot their 3/2. Yeah. Like, I make liberal use of the surrender button in cards because it's just, like, so many games just feel bad to play. There's so many games and cards where the game is effectively over, but it's technically not over, so, like, I could play for another 3 or 4 turns, but I'm just gonna lose anyway. And even if I somehow make a comeback, clawing and screaming back into the game, it's gonna be by the slimmest of margins and by sheer dumb luck. That just... those games aren't meaningful or interesting to play for me, so... And I know part of the problem is because we play a lot of off-meta brews on stream. But that's because I don't think people would be interested in seeing me play German US aggro every day, or ramp, US British ramp, or British US control ramp, control/ramp every day. Like, it would just get boring. I'll just end the round if they don't want to attack.
Took the bait.
So our 5/5 put a 5/5 in our deck, which is nice.
Safety will cost you.
So this is a game where we're in an okay spot, but we really need a Jinx that we're not finding.
Hot on the trail.
And the later this game goes on, the worse it gets for us. So we gotta kind of be aggressive here, even though we don't have any great attacks. Yeah, we just gotta draw one of our 6 copies of our champion. No problemo. Yeah, I guess.
Boys, they walked around.
The problem is they have a ton of cards in hand, and we don't have a Jinx to like take advantage of our low hand size here.
The trap is set.
So that's one of the cards they stole from us using this nab mechanic. Oh, I guess. Yeah, they nabbed a card off the top of our deck, so that's why they are running this. Well, they're not running this, that's why they played this.
Ye started without me. The dead don't
Yeah,
get
our
riches.
opponent's deck is very good because not only do they get these reasonably aggressive starts to like put you in range of getting burned out by the Ezreal combo. You know, it does well to control the board and yeah, put pressure on all at the same time. This might be a game where we surrender long before it's over, because I think it's effectively over at this point. I think we need to hit a Jinx now, and we stand a chance. But there's a reason why our opponent's deck is one of the top, if not the top deck in the format right now, and ours is like tier 2, tier 3 at best. I'm not even sure. I haven't been playing this game for long enough to really know. But I do know enough to know that they're playing one of the better ones, for sure.
Time for a true display of skill.
Yeah, I think we can call it here. Rather than like tread water, I'd rather move on to a more interesting game to play for you guys. It's too bad we were creeping up there on the next rank. Don't want a 4 costs combat trick in our opening hand. I think the Zonite Urchin's okay. We're facing the exact same deck again. Big Bucks, no turn 1 play for them. Don't need 2 Entreats. Okay, Get Excited is nice because it kills their Ezreal. Hey, Lynchy. Yeah, Sega Genesis was my jam. It's pretty much the reason why I'm into It's the reason why I'm a gamer.
Fear beyond!
They're gonna Get Excited my Starlit Seer. And make it rain, okay.
Idiots!
There's plenty of killing left.
Like, I think the first video game I technically ever played was Super Mario Bros. For the NES, but that, like, planted the seed so that when, like,
To get rich.
in the early 90s when that Sega Genesis came out, I wanted it. I wanted to play Sonic the Hedgehog so badly. I think we just take this hit. Like, I don't really want to spend this Get Excited. on anything other than an Ezreal. And I don't want to trade this quite yet. So I think we just skip the block. Are we just gonna pass though? I think so. We can bank this spell mana. Most of the stuff we want to play is our spells. So we're not gonna lose. We're not gonna get punished for not spending our mana this turn. Okay, but how cultured of a man are you really though? Like, what games did you play on the Sega Genesis? Are you familiar with the cult classic Comic Zone? Have you played that? I bring that up. I don't know. I just love that game. I like seeing what people say about it because I know some people who think the game is trash because they played it like later in their years. But if you grew up playing that game, you think it's. Most people tend to think it's pretty amazing for what it is.
Never lost a fair game. Or played one.
Perfect. So this is going to take 1 damage, but it's a free discard, so I'm just going to kill one of their 2 champs. An enabler. Don't want none of that.
Snow and stars.
This can't kill a thingy anyway. Maybe I'm supposed to get value off of it. Let's draw a Jinx.
An auspicious season.
Get 1 more trigger off this guy before he bites the dust.
Back to our perch.
Rummage. Do I need to save this guy to be able to push damage? Maybe, maybe not. This is probably stupid, but gets our hand empty, gets rid of one of his guys.
Treasures of the ages for a price.
Snap mechanic is really nasty.
Don't blink or you'll miss me.
Okay, hoping to draw a Get Excited for, okay, that clearly is what he drew off of his deck.
Safety will cost you.
Oh man, Road Rash, Golden Axe, those were my jams. Obviously you saw from my description, Streets of Rage is something that I played a ton of.
Who goes there?
I also really loved the Clone Wars, X-Men 2 Clone Wars game. That's like one of my favorite platformers, probably of all time, honestly. That's an awkward draw. So unfortunately, we can't play Jinx and then play out our second card to see our hand empty to level her up. It's not gonna work. Now he's gonna get the hit with Ezreal, which is gonna create a fleeting Mystic Shot in hand, deal 2 to anything. It's gonna be a rough one. Yeah, I mean... I think we have to pass.
One shot, all skill.
Who's falling for blood?
We know the value of coin.
Streets 4 might be the best of the series, honestly. It's just so good. So he's going to create a fleeting Mystic Shot in hand, which means he can finish this off, which at this point I think I just need to let happen. At least it's not hitting face.
Nailed it. It's yours.
Jinx stands for Jinx. Durr.
I should have just passed. There's no way he's letting this leave hand. Now he probably has 2 to kill her. Yeah, that was a mistake. I'm still learning the ropes for this game. Yeah. He's gonna kill Jinx and then we have no comeback mechanic for sure.
Fun time over?
So that was definitely a mistake on my part. I should have just passed the turn because there's like 0% chance our opponent doesn't use that fleeting Mystic Shot, right? Then I would have been able to play Jinx, and then maybe we could have done something with her the following turn. Probably not, because they had an Ezreal going that we had no removal for. Yeah, I read on the Runeterra, well, I read on the Runeterra forums or the Discord that decks like the one we're playing kind of lose pretty hard against the top decks that are being played right now. So pretty much just trying to dodge them on the ladder. And you do have to remember that we're playing pretty much a budget deck. It's fun though. I like playing. I find that the games in Runeterra are fun, even when you're losing, because of the champion mechanic. The way the level up mechanic works with them. You just get to do. You pretty much get to do. Your deck gets to always do its thing, so long as you can enable your champions, and that really makes it fun. I never played those 2 games, Moonwalker or RoboCop versus Terminator. Definitely not something that I have seen. I think Double Omen Hawk is fine. Do I want to attack here? I guess there's no reason to. Not yet, anyway.
I pull the strings.
Yeah, alright. So, there's a unit on top of our deck that has +1/+1 and one that has +2/+2, so that's kind of cool. I don't want her to level up from spiders, so I think it's actually worthwhile trading with the spiders, even though it does mean that we're essentially throwing away a card for something that she created, but I mean, the 1/1's not that valuable. It's the buffs that it provided to our troops that are. Yeah, I mean, gory games are amazing. I played a lot of Mortal Kombat back in the day, and my parents didn't much appreciate that game for the level of goriness, but I loved it. Mostly just because of how ridiculous it looked. It's not like... I mean, the graphics were awful, let's be real. If he blocks with Elise, it does mean it puts her in range of this Mystic Shot, so I think it's worth baiting the block here. Fine with that. That's pretty good. So our normally 0-2 with Challenger is now a 2-4, so it can eat one of their things the following round, and we can play it for free with this 4-3. So that's pretty great. That's pretty nice draw because it can be discarded as Rummage, and we'll get a 1-1 out of it. Go ahead and attack with everything. I'm fine with this trade, and I'm fine with that.
Alert the village!
Oh yes, she does our visit.
Not bad.
Oh, fresh soil.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Peer beyond!
We're probably gonna end up using some of these combat tricks this
They're out there.
round, so I'm gonna
I'll
play this
spot
guy to get extra value.
The grove follows.
That's an interesting attack.
Hush
It just gets eaten by this thing.
Let's not ruffle our feathers.
Am I supposed to do this block? I'm not sure. Might be too aggressive. It might also be right to try to save this thing.
An auspicious season.
We must all make sacrifices.
I'm not sure if this was a particularly good exchange for us. It is if we can draw a Jinx, because we can finish these off at some point.
This will be a good winter.
The problem is their deck is getting to the point where they can play their big old guy that cares about all their stuff dying all these rounds leading up to now. Man, that's rough. Kind of need to draw cards here.
Blessed by snow and stars, we see through all.
Probably just supposed to open attacks there. Oh boy, yeah, I don't know if we can beat this guy. Normally their decks aren't running this card necessarily because they don't need the reach. But now this is gonna, every time one of their things dies, they're gonna heal one and deal one. A token in this game? What do you mean? Like a token's deck? Kind of. Like there's a spider aggressive deck that like goes wide creating spiders like this. And then buffs them all. Probably has something in response to that to buff it, unfortunately. Yeah, these are not the draws we needed.
There's nothing to fear.
I think we're dead. So, it's an unfortunate last couple of games here. I think this is going to be the last one for me, though. I'll let them kill us, though, so you can see the cool animations or whatever. Couldn't draw our Jinxes, couldn't draw... Well, that's pretty much all we were looking for.
Go on, boys.
Couldn't get there. Our opponent's really not sure what kind of attack they're supposed to be making here.
Skitter out from the darkness.
The sad thing for us is it probably doesn't matter. I don't think we can win anymore. Let's see.
Fly away while you can! Let's not ruffle our feathers!
And I guess to get the trigger, they'll do... I'll do this.
An auspicious season!
So young.
We're just gonna die to this thing pinging us a million times. Nope, nothing. We'll do one more. We gotta end on a high note. I think we'll get a win eventually here. See if we can get another win before we call it a stream. I guess we're just gonna keep running into the top meta deck in this format right now, and then we're gonna keep that because it kills their champions. That's okay. I think we toss back the rest. So the this game is there's a new set coming out for this game before the end of this month. I don't know if they plan on doing a balance patch along with it, but interested to see where. I'm interested to see the future of this game. It seems like it has a lot of potential. So these two with our combat tricks in hand could start going pretty crazy. So I'm guessing they have a plunder card in hand that they want to play.
Who goes there?
Plunder is a mechanic that triggers if they deal damage to the HQ.
Blessed by snow and stars.
Our opponent, yeah, we're just a pleb. Our opponent's got the board. Okay, so that's what he nabbed off of the top of our deck. So our Starlit Seer is procced on a Starlit Seer. We're gonna skip the block here. We want to keep these guys alive for as long as possible. So you can only have 3 copies of an individual card in your deck, and we found all 3 of our starlets here. So we're gonna start creating some big boys. Okay, our opponent got another Omen Hawk. So they're gonna have something pretty big on top of their deck as well. The trouble is if it's hitting one of their champions that we kind of have to kill on sight, that's gonna be a problem.
Shackle the prisoners!
I guess it saw itself entering play. That's why it got the +1/+1. It's interesting. What do we think they're gonna do this round? Can play Jinx and still have 3 mana up to play Elixir of Iron and Mystic Shot? I don't think that's correct though.
Oh, vermin!
You barnacle!
Let's see what they do here.
What you looking for?
Create and hand an exact copy of a random spell from the enemy's deck. Gotcha. I don't think we care about that much. So they could play Get Excited. I think we're okay to spend our mana playing Jinx here. I don't think he has anything that can punish that anymore.
Time for a true display of skill.
They were hoping to dodge that from us, but
This will be a good winter! Blessed by snow and stars!
so we have a 4/4 Omen Hawk.
The world's a big place. Let's see all of it.
Fly away while you can!
They probably have a Make It Rain in hand.
Fly away while you can!
Just borrow it. Ooh, that's gotta hurt.
I'm just gonna pass here, force them to spend 2 mana playing the Mystic Shot. I'm actually gonna play this. So the way healing works in this game is that even though I'm getting +2 defense temporarily, when that defense goes away, basically the damage sticks on temporary defense before
This will be a good winter!
before your actual
Blessed by
permanent
snow
defense.
and
So she'll still be a
stars.
4/3 when the round ends.
Charge!
And then I think I'm okay to bank 3 of the 4 mana here as spell mana. Okay, that's pretty good.
Come on, fish bones. I don't want to.
I think we're just gonna
Oh,
get
you're in for
aggressive here. What is this hitting? Oh, it does show who it's hitting. So it's hitting our small guy and the big one. So that's dying anyway. I could save it, but I don't think that's wise. I think we want to push damage here.
This will be a good winter. Blessed by snow and stars.
What do they have that can save Ezreal? Because I'm thinking I Mystic Shot him once and Mystic Shot their dome a second time. Oh, we're not gonna... No, I don't think I should do this. No, maybe it's fine. He's gonna level up so I deal 1 additional damage this way as well. They could have, like, double get excited to punish this, I suppose, but I think we have to get aggressive here.
An auspicious season.
Yeah, Rodri, the overlay is really, really good.
This will be a good winter. An auspicious season. Back to our perch.
So we could very conceivably burn them out from this point.
I got the goods.
We'll see, though. Whoa, my god. Okay, they're gonna play a Riptide Rex here, unfortunately. It missed our Jinx. That is awesome. Man, I wish this thing had overwhelm.
We fill it.
This is a good attack on their part. They can get us down to 3, and then it can actually kill us with a Get Excited.
You're starting to bore me.
Left foot, left foot. What do we get?
Alright, do they have something to finish us?
Won't someone help this poor soul?
Everything hurts.
Everything hurts. A Last Rites Kamikaze card? No, I don't think so. Okay, did they find Burn? So let's play this to start. Because if they pass to us, we can basically mega death rocket at instant speed here. And I don't think their deck typically has healing in it. Alright, so did they find a Get Excited to kill us before our death rocket resolves? Oh! Oh, they got us! Very close game.
That was zero fun.
Healing is reasonable in the game. Not a lot of people run it though because you can only heal up to your starting life total of 20. Which I think is a good thing actually. It just prevents games from going on excessively long. But yeah, I think reasonable's in an healing is in a reasonable spot in this game. There are a few units in the game that have lifelink, and then when you do run into them, you're just like, oh my god, how can I ever beat that if you're the aggro deck? But when you're a non-aggro deck, because they can't just gain infinite life. You're just like, yeah, that's fine. I'll just wait till the perfect opportunity and, you know, outvalue you or whatever the case may be. All right, so that's it. That's going to be it for me today, everyone. Thanks a lot for sticking to the end of the stream. I know jumping into new games can be sometimes, you know, risky or scary or unknown, but I think this is something I want to make part of my regular schedule. So I hope you guys are interested in seeing more Runeterra content, because it's a game that I've definitely been enjoying and I want to play more of on stream in addition to cards. So yeah, and it's probably those probably won't be the only games we're gonna play. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I would like to play for you guys as the weeks and months roll on. So we'll see. But yeah, thanks everyone for stopping by again. For anyone who didn't catch the stream, you can check out the matches on my YouTube channel, and hope to see you guys next time, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.